Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week we spoke to Kody Ketterling from KJ Ketterling Enterprises. They make the Kayet line of products for in-ground sprinkler systems. Kody, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Real good. Cindy and I saw your company started a National Elevate Your Sprinkler Day and a bucket challenge for in-ground sprinklers, and we were curious what that was.
We were talking about stuff, and they said, hey, let's come up with a day, or let's see if we can get a day and call it National Elevate Your Sprinkler Day. So going along with that, we work with Home Depot, and we supply parts with Home Depot, so we decided to call it the Bucket Challenge because there was a guy that was a influencer on the web, and I'd met him at a couple shows, and he had done a bucket challenge. So he took a Home Depot bucket, put a sprinkler in it, grew grass, and then he raised it with our Capit, which is our number one seller. So we mailed out buckets to the news and everybody out and about, and they were able to grow grass, or we actually helped them grow grass. And then they were able to take part in the bucket challenge. So then this year we did it again because April 2nd is National Elevate Your Sprinkler Day. Instead of doing a bucket, we actually went out and used our cut it tool, and we dug around a sprinkler, and then we raised it with the Capit without digging it up. And then we showed them our new product of the Capit Plus, which is pressure regulation on sprinklers. Put in a couple risers onto some sprinklers, shrub adapters, and then you can put them into your grass. And then we showed them our Kayet wire connector that puts wires in line. So we used basically all of our products, but we actually did a live demonstration out in the field. And we, again, had newspapers and other people, magazines and stuff that came on board, and they actually watched it live. And then we have a live feed that people can watch. And it talked about different things you can do in your yard, not only our parts to make your grass better in your flower beds, but it also talked about other things that people need to do and be aware of. So we kind of had our second running of the bucket challenge.
Is the problem with in-ground sprinklers that the heads are sinking?
Well, I wouldn't say the sprinklers sink, but yes, it is a problem. Every 2.5 to 5 years, due to thatch, wind, dirt, grass, buildup, all of those type of things, your sprinklers, they either look like they're sinking, or what it is your thatch and your buildup, and so they become buried. So they're not popping up to their full level, and so then the water's not efficient as far as what they're supposed to be watering.
So are your products raising the sprinkler, or you're putting in a taller head?
So it's actually a product or products that raise sprinkler heads on top of their existing sprinkler heads. Example would be, I have a Hunter Pro Spray or a Rainbird 1800 series sprinkler, okay? The riser's barely popping up above the grass to water. It's hitting the grass if you haven't mowed. You know, you see brown spots. So basically you dig around the top of the head with our cut it tool, which digs a very perfect circle. You're going down, usually it's about 2 inches, roughly. You're going to expose that, clean the dirt off. Our part, you take the nozzle off, then you add our 1.5 inch riser, you add our cap, which will snap on top of the head, put the nozzle back on, adjust the sprinkler, and you're done. So we're using people's existing sprinklers with our parts to make it pretty easy. They don't have to know a lot about the sprinklers. They can make adjustments. If it's a flat top sprinkler, most flat tops will fit our products.
What company's sprinklers would work with your products?
Rainbird, Hunter, Orbit, K-Rain are the main, or I guess the bigger brands. There is Toro out there. Toro does not, because they have a different thread pattern. And
okay.
So we are not real compatible. We have been told, and we do have some people that have told us that there are some Toros that our products fit, but the most common are Hunter, Pro Sprays, and Rainbird 1800 series pop-ups. And then in the rotors, it's the Hunter PGP. We have the Rainbird 5000, 5004 series orbits, and then fits the K-Range as well because they're similar to the Hunters.
And what are the different types of products you have?
We have a locking device. It's called Clock It. It basically reestablishes the locking tab in a sprinkler clock. It's adjustable. It's different sizes. It's made out of stainless steel. So if your clock doors don't shut with the key, or somebody's broke them out, or you want to put a padlock on the existing one, you actually can use our Clock It. The second one we have is Cap It. Cap It is the pop-up riser from the top, raise it from the top. So basically that's Cap It. So it fits the pop-up spray heads or the MPs. It fits all the variance nozzles. Its partner that comes with that just came out this year is the Cap It Plus, which is pressure regulated. So there's many states that have went to pressure regulation, but Cap It Plus offers 40 PSI or 30 PSI. So if you have a micro precipitating sprinkler, you're going to use 40 PSI. If you have a spray head, you'll probably use the 30s. Basically what it does, it controls the amount of water that comes out of the sprinkler. So you can take an existing head that does not have PSR, and you can add our Cap It Plus, and it actually will put PSR into that sprinkler, so you don't have to buy all new sprinklers for it. Then we have our K-Lift, which is for Rainbird 5000, and that's for the rotors, the big stream rotors, and Hunter PGP orbits, and the K-Rain, but it's for the bigger, and it raises it by 2 inches, but for the bigger rotors. And then we have our tool that is the Cut It tool. And basically it's used to cut around and expose the sprinklers or to cut the overgrown grass. And then we've also made that tool to where you can use a wrench or you can use a socket to drill it down in the ground because it's got teeth that are replaceable. Flip it upside down and it becomes the tool that will take your rotors apart if you need to, so that you can work on them, change them, expose them. And then our last one right now is our K-It wire connector. We've came out with an inline wire connector that's grease filled that doesn't get you dirty. I call it the candy wrapper twist. One wire goes in on one side, another wire goes on the other side, and you twist it like a candy wrapper, and you basically put your wire connector in line, and you have it grease filled, waterproofed it, and it's direct burial.
You mentioned pressure regulation. What is that, and why is it required?
Pressure regulation is becoming a huge thing, or people are short on water, and so they have major cutbacks. Pressure regulation is where we control the outflow of water. So if a system example would be if a line puts out 60 gallons a minute, and I put on a 40 gallon per minute PSR, one of our caps, basically what it does is it only lets 40 gallons out of the top of the nozzle, even though the sprinkler system's pushing 60 on the front side. So you're saving 20 gallons an hour on water by doing the pressure regulation. So they found that it saves a lot of water. If you have valves and sprinklers, the front valves right by where the water comes on usually are stronger, and by the time they get to the end, it might be a little bit weaker. So by adding the pressure regulation, it basically says, okay, I'm going to be at 40 at head 1, and when I get to head number 7, which is the end, I'm going to be 40 there as well. So it helps regulate down the line what your pressure is going to be. Several states have adopted this, and in several states it's actually the law now. You cannot put in a sprinkler, any new sprinkler, you cannot put them in unless they are pressure regulated. So I think there's 11 states right now that are pressure regulated, that it's required by law to put it in. Now, you're grandfathered in if you have sprinklers in the ground that don't have it, but if they break or you have to fix them, they want to require you to put in a new pressure-regulated riser or sprinkler.
Installing your products is something a homeowner could do themselves?
Correct. Our whole goal through KJ Ketterling or the K-It brand is to try to make things so simple, so easy. We want to make it so that homeowners that maybe don't work on their sprinklers very often can go in and get the parts they need to raise their sprinklers, elevate them, or fix a wire, or dig around their sprinkler heads. And it doesn't take a lot to do it. And we're trying to simplify the process to make it a little bit easier for them. That's kind of the whole K-It brand, is take what other people have done, and we try to simplify it to save time and labor for people. And then alike for the pros, it possibly gives them a niche. Take Cap It for an example. We average, what I call the old way, if you're digging them up and putting risers on the bottom, yes, they're cheaper, but your timing is 15 to 20 minutes per one that you put in. We're averaging 45 seconds to maybe 2 minutes max to put in our cap.
Wow.
So I can put in 20 to 25 an hour of our cappets. When digging them up and exposing the ground, I'm doing 5 to 7, maybe 10 an hour. And so over time, as a contractor, I'm making more money because I've got time to go do other things.
Sure.
And also the homeowner's saving money that I'm charging them because I'm not there for 5 or 6 hours. Plus the yard still looks almost new in the sense we're just digging a very small piece with our tool, cut it tool. And then we're not making a mess in their yard with great big old shovel marks. We're not, exposing stuff, and we're being able to make it easy. Along with that, homeowners can do it really easy as well. So we're trying to simplify it and make it easy for homeowners and pros together.
How often do sprinkler heads need to be replaced?
That's been out for debate, I guess I would say, but we will start replacing 5 to maybe, depending on how many heads they have in a yard, right? But we'll probably try to start replacing 5 to 10 of those after the 3 to 5, maybe 6 year mark. And so you should, if you're a homeowner or you're a contractor, you should be evaluating your sprinklers every year. When you turn them on in the spring, if they're year round, you still should be evaluating them once a year to see how the sprinkler nozzles are working, see if they're covering correctly. But on average, we find that we're replacing parts or raising heads, about that 5-year mark that we start doing maintenance on the systems and start, raising heads, or we're cutting grass out around the sprinklers with our tool, or we got bushes and we need to put a shrub adapter and raise it up, with our pressure regulated, or we've lost a little pressure, so we're going to put it into pressure regulation. So if you evaluate every year, your expenses will go down as a homeowner. But if you wait till, let's say, 10 years, 12 years down the road, you're probably going to incur some very hefty expenses because you're going to have a lot of things to do versus maintaining it all along the way. It's kind of like taking a car to get an oil change.
Right.
We do it every 5,000, 8,000 miles. It's comparable to that. If you maintain and kind of watch over it, you're going to save time, labor, water, money. It's just going to be efficient for you all the time.
And what's your background, Kody?
I've owned a landscape contracting company for 15 years. So that's kind of where these tools and these gadgets, widgets, KIT products come from. Just in the workforce, trying to make it easier for my employees and my people around, and some homeowners alike, to make it easier. But I am a contractor, so my whole deal all the time is, how can I simplify our process out in the field so that we're more efficient as a crew, but also maybe we're saving our homeowners or commercial properties that we work on some money by being able to be more efficient with the products that we're using.
I saw an article that said you were inspired by your son's Legos when you were developing your products.
Yeah, that's kind of where it started. I was probably on my 1,000th head that I was raising for that spring.
Okay.
And I was tired of digging. I was digging all the time. And I was telling a buddy, and I said, you know what? I said, there's got to be a way to raise these heads. I'm going to figure it out. I said, I'm tired of digging. So kind of trying some different things, doing this, standing in my kitchen. And my son had Lego sitting on the counter that him and I build all the time. It's kind of sitting there, and we're talking and this and that. And I went, I got it. And they're like, what do you got? I said, figured it out. I said, if I can make it be like a Lego, because most of these sprinklers now are all flat. They're all the same for the most part. I said, we can fit most of the sprinklers out there. I was making a Lego. If I can make it snap on there and hold, just like Legos snap together, I said, we got it. So that's kind of where it was inspired from my kids' Legos.
What type of sprinkler system would you recommend to a homeowner?
Install water-efficient products. Install smart technology. There's so many water-efficient products out there that save water, all the way from clock timers down to the sprinkler nozzles, to the bodies, to the pressure regulation. I take it back to cap it. If a head is buried and it's not watering correctly, you're going to use 2 to 3 times the amount of water to try to get your coverage. If you put a caplet on it, 45 seconds, you spend the $4 or $5 in the store to get it, you put it on in 1 minute, and all of a sudden your head's popping up, and now instead of using 30 minutes of water, you might be using 15 minutes of water. Well, that's 15 minutes, and if you do that twice a day, every other day, that's 90 minutes in 1 week. I tell people all the time, be efficient with the stuff that's there. The technology that they used back in the day was great, but we've came so far with it and came so far with products, the K products as well. Use them. They may be a little bit more money, but in the long run, you're going to make 2 or 3 times that back in savings.
Your products are called K-It?
So with the K-It products and KJ Ketterling Enterprises, K-It products, it's really not about the K. It's not about the IT, of our Capit clock, K-lifted, all of that. Really, it's about the dash, and I ask people all the time, what's your K-It? What do you represent? What do you want to be? What do you want people to remember you by? And what do you want your legacy to be, or how do you want things to react to you? If there's something you can do in your life, and this is what K-It's done, that can give people an easier way to be more efficient in their sprinklers, feel comfortable raising heads, maybe putting in a wire connector, maybe digging around a sprinkler head, then the K-It brand has done its job. So it's really about what's your K-It and what can you do. So when you look at our products, I encourage people to try them. If you're going in to look for a riser in a store, look at the Capits. Look at the K-lifts for the rotors. They're risers. The only difference is we don't dig them up. We raise them from the top. If you're looking for a tool, maybe to clean around your grass of your heads, instead of using that knife or, a shovel and digging a big hole, look at the Cut It tool. Has replaceable teeth. You can dig a hole around it. You can make it real clean like you never even worked there. You may change a whole head out and may never notice. You can use our Cut It tool to plant bulbs. We have people that are doing going out with the metal detectors, using it to find their stuff with metal detectors. There's a lot of ways that you can use our tool that we have available. Wire connectors the same way. I like things clean. The whole reason we did it is it makes your wires in line. So, and it's grease filled, but you don't have to know a lot about it other than you strip a wire, you put them together and twist it like you would twist a Tootsie Roll. Our whole deal is, and I encourage everybody, when you're looking at doing something, look at the K-It brand. If you're fixing wires in boxes, if you're raising sprinklers, or if you need a riser, or if you need to clean around the head, but give K-It a chance, because we possibly can save you money, save you time, and maybe make it a little bit easier to work in your yard, flower bed, or even on that commercial project, and could make you more money in your pocket if you're a contractor, or as a homeowner, speed you up. So maybe you go golfing, or you're going swimming, or you go camping because you just raised a sprinkler in 45 seconds versus spending 30 to 40 minutes doing it. So we'd encourage you to check the K-It brand out and see what we have to offer. We like feedback, so anytime, but give us a shot.
And it's the letter K-IT.
Yep. Everything starts with a K and has a dash IT in it. So K-It wire connector, K-IT, Capit, KAP-IT, K-lifted, KLIFT-IT. Yeah, everything we have has a dash IT in it. For that, we want people to ask themselves, what's your K-It? What do you represent?
Where can homeowners find your products?
So our products are in Home Depot. So you can get them in most Home Depots. You can get them on the .com. You can get them in Site Ones. You can get them in the Heritage family, like sprinklerwarehouse.com. You can get them on Silver Creek. You can get them in D&B Supply. Probably the easiest one for most people is Home Depot or homedepot.com.
Do you have any tips for a homeowner with a sprinkler system?
As I always ask people, do you need to drink water? All the plants need water. Maybe you pick a grass seed, that doesn't need as much water if you're in a drought situation, or you spread that water out using water efficient nozzles. They have nozzles now that use 0.71 to 0.91 gallons a minute versus 2.4 to 2.7. So be efficient in it, but make sure your plants and grass, get a little bit of water each day, twice a day, if you're skipping a day, or once a day, every day, but they're getting a little bit of precipitation to give some moisture down into the ground. And then the second thing I would tell people is, can you live without eating? The stronger you make your grass, the less weeds you have and the less insect problems that you have in your yard. So if you feed your grass and you build it strong and healthy, your grass will choke out a lot of weeds. It'll keep a lot of bugs out of your yard. And you can use less water because your grass will be dense and thick. So the two things I always tell people, make sure you have a water program that's set up and is efficient. Use a water efficient clock, that saves water, watches the weather. And then also make sure that your grass is getting fed, between 3 and 5 times a year, depending on where you live. Because if you do those few things, your grass, for the most part, will stay pretty healthy and pretty strong over time.
Well, very good. Well, I appreciate your time, Kody. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, that was a great interview.
And for more information on their products, you can check out their website. It's kitproducts.com. That's the letter K-itproducts.com.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our ebooks, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 16 on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Cindy on Twitter at FixItCohost, and you can follow us on Instagram, Fixit Home Improvement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.
Deep.